everybody, it's Rosie here, and today I want to talk about Sister Megan Rice. Sister Megan passed away recently, and I was lucky enough to be one of the many people touched by her life. She was pretty awesome. So today I want to talk about her. Stay tuned. So Sister Megan was born in 1930 in New York City. She was raised there to parents. Her father was an obstetrician, gynecologist, and her mother was, she majored in history in college, actually went to school with Margaret Mead, which I thought was very interesting. And her parents were very involved in the Catholic worker movement in New York City. They were good friends with Dorothy Day. And when Sister Megan was 15 years old, the bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You know, of course, it was tragic, and the dropping of these bombs was horrible, and it affected Sister Megan very deeply for the rest of her life. Megan knew that she wanted to be of service to the world. She was very passionate about that. And so when she was 18 years old, she entered the Sisters of the Holy Child Jesus. That was in 1947. And she got both her bachelor's degree and her master's degree in biology at various universities, mainly in New York. And then she went to Africa, where she founded a girls' school with her sisters. And that was very rare at that time. So she was really a pioneer. She taught there for about 20 years until she came back to the United States in the early 80s. Sister Megan lived at the Catholic Worker in New York City, and she participated in lots of anti-nuke protests at that time. She protested at, among other places, the School of the Americas, and that was what it was called then, in Fort Benning, Georgia, and she was sentenced to 6 months in prison. In 2003, she moved out to Las Vegas to the Catholic Worker there, and she protested with the Nevada Desert Experience there and worked with them quite extensively. She protested with, among other people, one of Pache Bene's founders, Louis Vitale, and she also lived and worked with our executive director now and his wife, Ryan and Arandi Hall. In 2012, when Megan was 82 years old, she entered the Y-12 Oak Ridge National Security Complex with Michael Wally and Gregory Boherte Obed. This drew national, international attention, and their Transform Now Plowshares was called by the New York Times. Let me read this on my Post-it note so I can get it right. It was called the biggest security breach in the history of the nation's atomic complex. So this is one of the reasons why I laugh when people say that they think that our nuclear weapons are secure and locked away and they're safe and they can't hurt us and no one can get in to touch them, because if Megan Rice could do it, you know, they're probably not all that safe. I love what she said about nuclear weapons in this interview.
This is so outrageous and such a cause of death, imminent death, terrible suffering, you know, all the attention that's put into these objects, which can never be used without helping to extinguish the planet. And yet it's continued, and they're guarded at least $1 billion a year.
Not very effectively, it turns out.
This is the taxpayers' money, which is denied to serve the poor and causes people to sleep on the street tonight.
In 2014, after the Transform Now Plowshares, she was sentenced to 2 years and 11 months in prison, and she got out in 2015. I was so lucky to meet Sister Megan at the trial for the Kings Bay Plowshare 7. I actually met her 2 years ago to this very day that I'm filming this video. When I met her, honestly, I knew about her before I met her. I'd read about her in books and I'd watched videos, and I honestly felt really starstruck. I mean, this was Megan Rice. She was amazing. And I was lucky enough to get to eat lunch with her, and she told me about her discernment to becoming a sister and about her life. And I just loved talking with her. She was such a blessing. And I remember actually that it was during the trial for the Kings Bay Plowshares 7, and they didn't have enough room for us all to fit in the courtroom. So they had shuttled some of us off into sort of this adjoining room where we could watch a television, where we could see what was going on in the courtroom. And I remember that I got to sit next to Sister Megan, and I remember her holding my hand through the whole thing. And I just remember feeling all this love coming from her. She was amazing. And I remember her watching this trial and commenting throughout it and saying things like, tisk tisk, and when the judge or whoever would say like, these weapons are fine and safe. And I thought she was amazing. She was such an inspiration to me. She was so kind and so loving and so full of life and joy. I will forever be grateful that I got to meet her and spend some time with her. It was one of the best days of my life that I got to spend with her. Sister Megan, thank you. I love you. Thanks everybody for watching this video. Peace out.